Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidbaram Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Tvameva Mata Cha Pitatvameva Tvameva Bandhusya Sakhatvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Gurudeva Deva. Hari Om. Just completed the chapter 14 and we'll take up the chapter 15 which deals with the obstacles for self-realization. And from Chinmayanji says this is one of the very important chapter for many of us because it clears out some of the people who study Vedanta and still doesn't realize and where the problems are, what are the obstacles that they find, and some people are aware of it, some people do not. And the major obstacles is the preparation of the mind. So the mind, for any knowledge to take place, there are always a prerequisites that we discuss. So in any field, there is always a preface to whom this book applies. Same way, to whom this Vedanta applies. So even in the Brahma Sutra, the first sloka it says Athato Brahma Jignasa. Then therefore or thereafter the one has to inquire into Brahman. So there are a lot of interpretations of what is thereafter means. Thereafter means whereafter or what after. So different acharyas have prescribed after having this, then you study. That means this becomes a prerequisite or essential in order to inquire into Brahman. So Bhagavan Shankaracharya says that the prerequisites are preparation of the mind. So mind has to have what they call the fourfold qualifications are required. That is Viveka, Vairagya and Samadhi Shatka Sampatti and Mumukshutvam. These are considered as essential requirements for the mind to inquire. So Viveka is Nitya Anitya Vastu Viveka, the one that can discriminate what is real and what is eternal and what is ephemeral. That means that which is changing is what is the whole world, and what is that which is changeless entity. If something is changing, law of conservation demands that there has to be an entity on which these changes are occurring. That substantive or adhara or adhishtanam on which changes are occurring, that one should be invariant. That means it should not change at all. And according to the whole world is changing. It's called Jagat. Jagat means Jayate, Gacchate, iti Jagat. That which is continuously modifying. So things are continuously, time is changing and everything changes. And generations have come, generations are living and future generation will be coming. So continuous flow of the world is continuously changing. And if something is changing, the law demands that, law of conservation demands that there has to be a changeless entity on which the changes are occurring. So that's how in the chemistry we call it a balancing equation. Some students struggle hard to balance it. What balance equation means? The amount of mass on this side has to be equal to the mass on the other side. That means law of conservation of the mass, and also energy is also conserved. So one has to balance either both the mass and the energy, and because they cannot change, and matter or energy can neither be created or destroyed, and only one form of matter can be changing into other. That is at the objective level. From the absolute level, Krishna provides a law of conservation. That which existence itself is conserved. So that becomes a basis for all the creation, and from the existence only everything gets created. That's how the Vedanta talks about. What is existence? That because of which thing is, and without which thing cannot be. So any object is, that isness itself is the pure existence, and pure existence is infinite as per Vedanta. That's because Adhato, the Sadeva Saumya Idamagramasit Ekameva Advitiyam. That's how the Uddalaka teaches his son, says, Beta, if you know one thing, you will know everything else. And if you know the essence, that is from which the whole universe came, by which it is sustained, into which it goes back, and if you know that, then everything is only, the universe is only superficial, which is only changing entities and no substantive. Therefore, it has no meaning if I understand the fundamental essence. Just as if I know gold, I know in essence rings and the bangles and the necklace, because the essence of them I know. And only I may not know the superficial attributive content of each ornament may be different, and ring can be destroyed and making into bangle can be destroyed, making into necklace. So these changes are superficial, but gold remains the same. Gold is conserved in the process, and that is essentially same way that the existence is conserved. Therefore, that Krishna talks about in the Gita as the very basis for the creation, and very basis for the whole world itself. And if I know that, then that's what know the truth. So for that I need to use Viveka. Viveka is a discriminative intellect to differentiate what is real versus what is not real. Real as that which doesn't undergo any change, and anything that is changing cannot be real. That's only apparently real but not really real, and therefore that Viveka is required, and that's one qualifications. Then Vairagya, to dismiss that which is not real, that is the Vairagya, dispassion. So the discriminative intellect and dispassion. The third one is the discipline, that is Samadhi Shatka Sampatti. The mind should be able to control itself from not indulging in the worldly affairs and getting lost in the process, because it binds you one, and one gets cocooned in that life, and that's why we have been spending life after life after life. And the fact that we have this life, that means there was a past life, and because there was a past life, there must be past before that, and all the way, and it's a beginningless, endless creation. And therefore, at least this is a time, once you are exposed to Vedanta, you can assimilate it and realize it, and this janma to karma to janma, this cycle of birth and rebirth and so on, can be avoided once for all. So here the Ashtavakra talks about that. In this is, we have Viveka, Vairagya, Samadhi Shatka Sampatti, and Mumukshuttam, the desire to know the absolute truth. And once I have desire, then I will shut off everything else, because that becomes a primary requirement for me to live itself. So any one of this will take you to the highest. So if we don't have the proper mentality, mind needs to be prepared for that, prerequisites. If you don't have it, then should I study Vedanta or not? You can study, but you will not be able to assimilate it. So therefore, slowly, the fact that you are able to understand and appreciate Vedanta itself, that the mind has been prepared enough, but not enough to abide in the knowledge. So for that only, scripture talks about Srotavyaha, Mantavyaha, then Nididhyasitavyaha. You have to contemplate on the teaching that I have gained by Shravanam and Mananam. Shravanam is listening to a teacher for a prolonged length of time under a competent teacher until it's completely crystal clear. There are no doubts in the mind about the nature of reality. So here Ashtavakra starts about that. He says, Yatha tatopadesena Krutartha sattva buddhiman Ajivamapi jignasuhu. Ajivamapi jignasuhu. Parastatra vimukhyati. Parastatra vimukhyati. Together. Yadha tathopadeshena krudartha sattva buddhiman. Ajivamapi jignasuhu. Parastatra vimukhyati. So here it says Yadha tada upadesena. So even simple teaching is sufficient for the one who is sattva buddhiman. Sattva buddhiman is one who has a sattva guna. Sattva guna is a sattva rajas tamo gunas. Three aspects are there in the mind. So sattva guna encourages one to contemplative and wants to know. So knowledge becomes a basis for the evolution, and he is the one who has sattva buddhiman, one whose intellect has sattva guna, and that means he wants to inquire. And this is what a brahmana means. Brahmana means the one who wants to know. Brahman charati is brahmana, the one who wants to know about the nature of absolute reality and travels in that direction, and that's essentially is where one who has a sattva guna. So according to our scriptures, like the some of the Upanishads, even in Mahabharata, so the emphasis is that it is not by birth, it is by guna only. So Krishna says, guna karma vibhava, only chaturvida bhajante ma. So the four chaturvarnashram are established on the basis of guna and karma. So guna means sattva guna, and karma is the one who teaches in the direction or proceeds in the knowledge wise. So sattva buddhiman, the one who is interested in knowing the absolute truth. So we have two types of knowledge. So even the one who is inquiring into the knowledge of the world, he also wants to know, but he is interested in trying to find out what is the truth. So every scientist, objective scientist, is also trying. So he needs a very sharp intellect. Sharp intellect is where he wants to decide, dissect, and classify. So he's differentiating, and that's called analytical mind, and that mind is required for objective knowledge. But for the Vedanta insists not the sharp mind but a subtle mind, a mind that is integrating, not the dividing, the one which sees oneness that pervades the divisions, that oneness that pervades the whole universe, and that is a synthetic mind, and that's essentially a sukshma buddhi, not a tichna buddhi. Sukshma buddhi is the one who wants to inquire into the absolute nature, the bottom line, that one pervades the whole divisions and distinctions of all things. What is that one? Essence of that. And that is what is a sattva buddhiman, krutarthaha, the one who will be fulfilled by even yathodadhopadeshyana. Even bits of information here and there, he can gather it, and his mind, because of the training, is able to synthesize and appreciate the beauty of the absolute nature, and he becomes successful in his pursuit of the highest truth, becomes a krutarthaha. So yathodadhopadeshyana krutarthaha sattva buddhiman, the one who has prepared his mind, purified his mind from going from tamasic mind to rajasic mind to sattvic mind. So one who has traveled all the way, prepared by withdrawing himself from all other pursuits and only inquiring to the highest truth, not even the objective knowledge, but in the highest philosophy. In contrast, the Ashtavakra says, Ajivamapi jignasuhu parastatra vimukhyati, the one who is involved in external world and who is involved in, he wants this, like the one who is rajasic mind. That's why he wants to keep his mind all the time preoccupied with so many things, and he's also, yes, I am also interested in Vedanta, and it's always Vedanta can wait until I finish this and finish that and so on and so forth. So his mind is actively involved in the world and not able to pull the mind back into completely introvertedly to turn inwards. Therefore, this is Jignasuhu. He wants to know. At the same time, he wants to know many things too. Not only Vedanta, but so many things he wants to know. He will even say, hey, you are wasting your time. What is good that you have to inquire, you have to know varieties of things, and that's life. So he even justifies knowing all other external things, and you keep on knowing what's happening here, what's happening there, and that is Jignasuhu. So who is Rajasic mind or Tamasic mind is where he doesn't even bother about any knowledge. He says he wants to live, eat, live and eat. So that's what the Tamasic mind. Here we are talking about Rajasic mind, Parastatra Vimukhyati. So the one Tatra, where he is confused in terms of what is real and what is not real. The world seems to be so real to him, and he's getting involved and trying to find out what is the absolute truth at the relative level where it's not there. And Paratatra Vimukhyati. That Jignasu, Ajivamopi, he spent the whole lifetime trying to learn Vedanta. At the same time, the mind is not purified enough. His mind wants to indulge in other things as well, saying that that's very important also. That means he has not realized the uniqueness of Vedanta. So, Ajivamopi. So, a lot of people say that I have been studying Vedanta for whole life itself, spending life after life also, and spending whole life trying to learn Vedanta, and still say that I have not realized. And he can even know what Vedanta says, but at the same time he has not realized. Then what does it mean? It means the mind is not prepared enough, purified enough. Mind thinks that happiness is still outside. So therefore he is searching for happiness outside. So Ajivamopi Jignasu Parastattva Vimukhyati. So here says a person of pure intelligence realizes the self even by instruction casually imparted, and a man of improper intellect is confused in trying to realize the self even after inquiring throughout his life. So mind has the preparation of the mind, where this is where major Vedantic problems are in terms of not able to abide in the knowledge. So what is called Sthita Prajna, Krishna calls it, is a Sthita Prajna, not just Prajna, Sthita Prajna, firm abidance in the knowledge. And that is where Prajahati Yadakaman Sarvan Parthamanogatan Atmani Eva Atmana Tushtaha. The one who is reveling himself by himself, and he essentially Prajahati Yadakaman Sarvan Partha, all desires are being given up, because the mind is now concentrating on the absolute nature of the reality. So, yatha tatopadeshena krutartha sattva buddhiman ajivamapi jignasuhu parastatra vimukhyati. So, essentially, the lack of preparation of the mind is the problem as a biggest obstacle. So, what should one do? How one should prepare a mind? Says the Bhagavad Gita talks about the preparing the mind itself. So when the Arjuna asks, why are you asking me to go direct to do karma yoga and you are glorifying the jnana yoga? Well, that's why I want to go leave everything and go in Himalayas and want to meditate. Says that's not for you, because you have not prepared your mind. You have to prepare first by karma yoga. So karma yoga and bhakti yoga, all the upasana yoga, all yogas are meant for purification of the mind. Only after prepare the mind, then the Sthita Prajnatvam, the highest teaching, also comes into picture for one to realize. So majority of the problem is, for many people, is lack of preparation of the sufficient preparation of the mind. How do we know it's not sufficient? The very fact that he says, I have not realized, even though he understood Vedanta. There is nothing much than what you have to do. So keep on studying Vedanta it becomes a nididhyasanam. So until then I had to do karma yoga, bhakti yoga, all that. But once I am able to listen to Vedanta, then the mind has to be turned inwards, and Vedanta Shravanam itself purifies the mind as one gets involved more and more and more. So what should I do if I don't get it and I have studied Vedanta, still I have not realized, and if he kicks the bucket, Krishna talks about nothing will be wasted. So whatever Swalpam Apyasya Dharmasya, even a very little bit of study of Vedanta will be helpful, and he will be born in a conducive environment for his rapid growth in the next life. Therefore, all that will not be wasted. So that's what essentially Krishna guarantees. So Vedanta, once is imparted, it will germinate, and when a conducive environment arrives it, then it starts germinating. So here in the Yoga Vasishta, the Swamiji quotes, Adau Samadama Prayaihi Gunaihi Sishyam Vishodaye Pascha Sarvamidam Brahma Suddhastvamiti Bodhayet. So before one teaches, the teacher has to make sure that the student has qualified himself for self-control and inner qualities and all the required mental attitude, able to turn inwards. Introvertedness is essential requirement to inquire, who am I, what is this world, and all that. It is not going around and find out who am I. You can't go and ask anybody, do you know who am I, and all that. So you have to find out who you are. Is essentially paschat, after acquiring the required qualifications, paschat sarvamidam brahma, everything is nothing but Brahman. Sarvam idam Brahma means the substantive whole, the whole universe is nothing but Brahman. That means it is pure Satchidanandam, which what I am, and that is essentially Suddhastvam iti bodhayet. Then the teaching can be successful. Krishna talks about also who one has to teach in terms of the one who has a faith in the knowledge. The one who does not have faith, don't teach even them. So he provides to whom one should teach and to whom one should not teach. Here also a requirement for the teacher that a student who has prepared his mind, to him you provide. So in these days you don't have that kind of Gurukula system, and therefore it becomes a necessary for the student himself to evaluate, and if he is not gaining, if he is not running around, oh, I am not able to understand, he is not a good teacher, that means he has not prepared his own mind. So he can criticize the teacher, but the preparation of the mind is essential. If preparation of the mind is then, the teacher may not be correct, then you will find another teacher which is conducive for learning. That becomes a large responsibility to provide appropriate teacher for that prepared mind. And my own example in my case, where I was inquiring and I gave up so many things, thinking that the J. Krishnamurti I studied and did not appeal to me, and the rest of the Vedantas did not appeal to me. So I was I rejected everything until the Lord himself provided me a teacher whom I can appreciate the logic of it, where I could not reject the logic because I come from a scientific background. So once the logic is approved, then automatically I was after the highest knowledge. So the appropriate teacher will come if the mind is prepared. That is the essence also. That's the law of nature. We'll do sloka 2. Moksho Vishaya Vairasyam, Moksho Vishaya Vairasyam, Bandho Vaishayako Rasaha, Bandho Vaishayiko Rasaha, Etavadeva Vijnanam, Etavadeva Vijnanam, Yathechasi Tatha Kuru, Yathechasi Tatha Kuru. So Ashtavakra says, Moksho Vishaya Vairasyam, Bandho Vaishayako Rasaha, Etavadeva Vijnanam, Yathechasi Tatha Kuru. So here he is providing a clear distinction, what's that which differentiates between a sattva buddhi and rajasic buddhi. The one who is sattvic buddhi, the one who is what is according to called a brahmana, the one who wants to inquire. So moksho vishaya vairasyam. So vishaya vairasyam, the dislike to indulge in the vishaya. Vishaya means in the sense objects. Vairasyam. So essentially distaste for the sense objects, and that means the mind, it does not like to indulge in the sense objects and wants to know what is the highest truth, because even in the objective senses, say why doesn't he sit down and watch TV or do that? Always he wants to go to the library or laboratory and try to keep on doing this test, that test, which doesn't make sense, boring there. So for those people who doesn't appreciate that, but a scientist wants to inquire, for him that is more important than wasting time in watching all sorts of soap operas and all that. So for him, the better way of time, because the time is very precious. Once the time is gone, then you cannot pull it back again. So the time, he wants to go and do the inquiry in the objective senses. So even for an objective scientist, he has a vishaya vairasyam is required. And if it is a moksha, any indulgence, even the objective senses, has to be there, because you want to find out what is the essence, the nature of the subject itself, without which the object existence itself cannot be established. So here, moksho vishaya vairasyam. So defining what is moksha and bandha. Bandho vaishaya ko rasam. The one rasaha, the one who wants to have a passion, rasaha. This is about on the sense objects. He is running for one sense objects and to next and next continuously. He wants varieties and varieties of the sense objects all the time, because if you are involved in one sense object, then you get bored out of it. You want something change. So keep on changing with one after the other, and that becomes a bondage. So bandhaha vishaya, so vaishaya ko rasaha. Etavadeva vijnanam, etavat eva, such is the nature of the knowledge here, and yatha ichchasi tada kuru. Now, having known this, do whatever you want. So here, the instruction to a student is, this is the case. If you want, this has to be done. If you don't want, that's what happens. No, now it's up to you. So even after teaching the whole Gita, says Krishna ultimately says, do whatever you want, and this is the nature of the teaching. And if you now, with this knowledge in the background, decide what you want to do. Then Arjuna says, I am going to understood, and he thanks Krishna for teaching, and then says, I will do whatever you want me to do. So etavadeva vijnanam yadicchasi tadha kuru. Do whatever you think. This is the nature of the reality. If you want moksha, this is the path. If you want the bondage, that is the path. And this is called Shreyas and Preyas. So in the Kathopanishad, when the Upanishad talks about, there are two paths. One is the path of Preyas, another path of Shreyas. And Shreyas is that for your evolution, Preyas is that you want to indulge in. So that's essentially the Shreyas. So Arjuna asked for Shreyas. So the Karpanya doshopa hata swabhava pruchchamitvam dharma sammuda chetaha yas Shreyaschan nischidam Bruhitanve sishyastoham sadhibam tvam prapannam. So I am your disciple. Please teach me that which is Shreyas. He didn't ask for prayers. Therefore, then only Krishna opened, because a student is ready to listen. Until then, he was only blabbering something all the time, and Krishna was just listening quietly without any interference also. So here, the mental preparation of purification becomes an essential for knowledge. This in the Upanishad also, Manayevo Manushyanam Karanam Baddhamokshayoho. Bandhaya Vishayasaktam Muktai Nirvishayam Srutam. Mind is responsible for both bondage as well as liberation. Manayo Manushyanam Karanam Bandha Mokshayoho. So mind is responsible for bondage as well as liberation. And what is bondage? Bandhaya Vishayasaktam. The bondage is when the mind is involved in the sense objects, it gets cocooned into that. And moksha hi nirvishayam srutam. So the moksha is the freedom from all the sense objects, indulging in the sense objects. And that's exactly what the Ashtavakra said in this. So we'll continue after we come back. So it's Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi